But there's only one place to start, isn't there? And that is in Budapest, where Arsenal are bidding to complete an historic double when they face PSG in the Champions League final tomorrow. Mikel Arteta was speaking to the media earlier, and we can cross to Darmesh, who was there talking to him as well. Afternoon/evening to you, Darmesh. And straight in at the beginning of that press conference, there was some really positive news for Arsenal fans tomorrow.
Matt, there certainly was. Less than 24 hours to go until the Champions League final kicks off. And as you mentioned, a huge boost for Arsenal. Every week I'm at a news conference with Mikel Arteta, and one of the first questions is, what is the team news? And there are a whole host of injuries for Arsenal. The big doubt, because he's been out for over 2 months, has been Jurrien Timber. Over the last few weeks, Mikel Arteta says, yes, he's getting close. He's on the grass, but he's still got a bit of work to do. Today, he was adamant. Jurrien Timber is fit and he is available for this Champions League final tomorrow. Not only did he say he's available, but he is available to start for Arsenal against Paris Saint-Germain in this Champions League final tomorrow, which kicks off, of course, at 5 o'clock here at the Puskás Arena. So all it means is that Ben White is the only player that is out of this squad injured at the moment. Arsenal have a fully fit squad, barring Ben White. That's because Mikel Arteta has revealed Jurrien Timber is fit, is available, and is ready to start.
Fascinating to see if he does go with him ahead of Mosquera, and he hasn't played since mid-March, I think. How about Arteta and how he's looking at this match? Because they've already won the Premier League. So is he treating this as a free hit?
I can understand why he got asked that question, because a lot of the fans that I've spoken to, particularly before Arsenal had confirmed that first title, that first Premier League title in 22 years, when they were given the choice, what would you rather win? It was always the Premier League, and it was always looked on as a bonus to win the Champions League. However, I think they're all getting a little bit greedy, because the Arsenal fans that I've spoken to now have real belief, and Mikel Arteta, free hit, not a bit of it.
Well, I think it's the opportunity to own the moment, because, as you said, it's the second time in our history that we are here, and we have the opportunity tomorrow to write a new chapter in the history of this football club. And in order to do that, we have to play tomorrow with such a clarity, a lot of courage, and a relentless desire to win. If we have those three aspects, I'm sure that we're going to be close to win. We have one, and we won the second one, and that's all we've been talking about. There has to be a platform to reach bigger destinations and to aim for more, and the TP is capable, because he's shown it in the last 2 seasons, the way of three in this competition, what we've done this season in the competition, and I want the players to be so confident that we're going to go and do it. Well, they are defending the trophy, so they were the last ones that earned the right to leave that trophy, and they are actually the champions, and we are here to take that away from them.
Yeah, far from being a free hit for Mikel Arteta. He says that this Champions League final represents extra ambition. He's looked into the whites of his players' eyes, and what he realises is they want more following that Premier League title success for the first time since 2004. And that is echoed by his players as well. Skipper Martin Odegaard faced the media earlier on. Bukayo Saka also faced the media earlier on. And they were both asked what it would mean if, and it's a big if, they were to get over the line and win the Champions League for the first time in the club's history.
We all know where my journey started. 7, 8-year-old at Haylen Road, and this was a long way away. Trying to win the Premier League, trying to win the Champions League with Arsenal, and it feels like this last week, you know, it's all kind of become a reality. And tomorrow, yeah, I'm very excited at the opportunity to win another trophy here, and yeah, just create that history for the club that I love.
I've been dreaming about winning these trophies, you know, since I grew up playing football, and yeah, when I started playing football with my friends, you know, in the little pitch next to my house, I was dreaming of this moment, you know, to win trophies, play this final, and of course win it. So that dream has been the whole life, and of course now the last few weeks a little bit more.
Busy day this, it always is. Match day -1 on a Champions League final week. We heard from Luis Enrique, the PSG head coach. We heard from Marquinhos and Ousmane Dembele, two of PSG's key players. And of course, we've just heard from Mikel Arteta and Martin Odegaard and Bukayo Saka. And now we have the open training session that Arsenal will conduct for about an hour. The cameras are allowed to film this training session for about an hour. This is quite unusual for Arsenal when it comes to an away Champions League trip, because normally what they do, they arrive on match day -1. They will train at their London Colney base during the day, and then they will fly to an away ground in the Champions League. However, because they are contracted to do a whole hour in front of the watching media, on match day -1. They decided that on match day -2, that was yesterday, they would train at London Colney and then fly to Budapest yesterday. That's what they did. And then they held a training session away from the Puskás Arena this morning in Budapest, and then conducted all of their media activity thereafter. And as you can see, the players now are being put through their paces. And just a reminder of that news that Mikel Arteta brought earlier on in the last hour match. Jurrien Timber, a fantastic boost for Arsenal. He is fit, he is ready, and he is available to play. So Ben White is the only player that is definitely out of this squad ahead of what is a huge game for Arsenal. Their second Champions League final ever, 20 years after their first. And as far as Mikel Arteta is concerned, this has been a real success story, hasn't it? 6.5 years in charge. His first season, well, part-time season, he won the FA Cup, but they had an 8th place finish. First full season, an 8th place finish, and then a 5th place finish, significantly behind Tottenham Hotspur. And you thought, you know what, if he had been at another club, would he have been under pressure? Well, not a bit of it, because very early on in Mikel Arteta's tenure, they changed his role from a head coach to a manager. Very significant indeed, because he then became part of the leadership group at Arsenal. So if Mikel Arteta was under any pressure, well, it was a whole leadership group that was under pressure. Then came those 3 second place finishes, of course, and then rival fans, critics, experts, pundits would always say, do you know what? Can Arsenal get over the line? Well, they did. And now the ambition has gone even further for this Arsenal team and for Mikel Arteta. The first Premier League title in 22 years is in the can. Can they make history by winning the Champions League for the first time ever? Mikel Arteta there, just talking to his coaching staff, the players going through their paces in front of the watching media. And can they do it is the big question. It is going to be a huge ask, because Paris Saint-Germain were in the same position Arsenal are in this season, aren't they? They were going for history themselves to try and win the Champions League for the first time ever. Last season they did it. Arsenal now in the same position that PSG found themselves in last season. I'll put it to Luis Enrique how powerful a motivation that can be for Arsenal, given his PSG team had been in the same position last season. He said it is a huge motivation, but let me tell you, winning it back to back is an even bigger driver and an even bigger motivation. So that is what Arsenal and Mikel Arteta will be up against. I asked Mikel Arteta as well about his team selections, because on numerous news conferences he has said that the most painful and challenging part of his job has been selecting just 11 players week in, week out, game in, game out. I just wondered what his pain levels were when he would have to put pen to paper, or an iPad I think he uses now, when he chooses the team that will face PSG in this Champions League final. There are so many decisions to make. I would say, looking at the team at the moment, there are about 5 players I would think are definitely going to start, fitness permitting, of course. Tomorrow, you would say David Raya, yes, he would start in goal. William Saliba and Gabriel would start in midfield. Declan Rice, definite starter in midfield. And, of course, Bukayo Saka on the right of the front three. I guess that Mikel Arteta has decisions to make every other part of the pitch. Yes, Jurrien Timber is fit, but he hasn't played for over 2 months, as you mentioned, Matt. Is he ready to start? Mikel Arteta says yes, but match fitness is going to be an issue for Jurrien Timber. So will it be him? Will it be Christian Mosquera? Or might it even be Martin Zubimendi? We doubt that would be the case. He did try him out against Crystal Palace. Maybe that was just to rest everyone else who could possibly play there, just to ensure that everyone in that position is fit for this final. Then left back is a decision to make there as well. Piero Hincapié or Riccardo Calafiori will be fighting it out for that position. Then you've got the defensive central midfield role. Miles Lewis-Skelly, I mean, what a turnaround he has had so far this season. He's been out of the team, barely played any minutes throughout this season, and then came back, and not only came back in massive games, but came back in central midfield. And there is a strong chance that he could start ahead of Martin Zubimendi. Then that leaves the other position in midfield. Martin Odegaard, the captain, you would think, will he play? You would think yes. What will that mean to Eberechi Eze? And if they were to start both, which seems unlikely against a team like PSG, will that then have repercussions on the front three? Because would Eze then play on the left? We probably think not. We would think, if we were to hazard a guess right now, Eze would start on the substitutes bench. And then the front three, again, decisions to make for Mikel Arteta. Leandro Trossard is favourite, you'd think, to start on the left-hand side. Saka, as we know, is almost a definite starter on the right-hand side. And then there's the decision to make for the striking role. Kai Havertz or Victor Gyökeres. Of course, Gabriel Jesus can play there as well, but he's unlikely to start this game. It's likely to be between Havertz and Gyökeres. Havertz, remember, has a big game mentality, scored the winning goal in the Champions League final for Chelsea in 2021 against Manchester City. Victor Gyökeres has got 5 goals in this competition so far. So plenty to ponder for Mikel Arteta ahead of a huge game for him, his squad, and this football club. Can they create history and win the Champions League for the first time in their history? PSG against Arsenal, kick off at 5 o'clock right here at the Puskás Arena tomorrow afternoon.